You stand at the edge of a chasm. Below, the darkness churns a sea of unspoken truths, roiling with the weight of what you've ignored too long. You've been told lies about women, about yourself, about the dance between the two. The world whispers platitudes to keep you soft, compliant asleep. But no more. This is not a gentle wake-up call. This is a hammer to your soul. Here's the first truth. The female psyche is not what you think. Freud, that old sage of the unconscious, saw it a labyrinth of hidden waves. Instincts buried beneath the surface, desires that pulse like a storm no one dares name. He called it the id, the shadow, the raw force of life that civilization tries to tame but never can. You've been taught to see women as simple, as predictable, as safe. You've been lied to. The feminine is not a puzzle to solve. It's a force to respect, a mystery to navigate with eyes wide open. Let me be clear, you're not ready for this truth. Not yet. You've spent years chasing illusions, swiping right, crafting clever lines, begging for approval from a world that laughs at your desperation. You think you want her, but you don't even know who she is. Freud knew. He saw the undercurrents, the primal drives that shape her choices, her silences, her chaos. And Jung, yes, Carl Jung, the philosopher of the soul, took it further. He spoke of the anima, the feminine shadow within you, the part of your psyche that draws you to her, that blinds you, that drowns you if you don't master it. Here's the second truth: she is not your savior. Jung warned of this. The anima, he said, is the archetype of life itself. But she can lead you to ruin if you project her onto a woman. You've done this, haven't you? You've seen her as the answer, her beauty, her laughter, her fleeting affection. You've built altars to women who barely know your name. And when they leave, when they betray, when they turn cold, you crumble. Why? Because you've outsourced your soul. You've handed your power to a fantasy, and she senses it. She feels your weakness, and it repels her. Let me be clear, she doesn't want your worship. The feminine psyche, Freud saw, is not a passive thing. It's alive, electric, drawn to strength, to purpose, to a man who stands unbowed. You think you're being nice when you grovel, when you suppress your fire to please her. You're not. You're betraying yourself. Jung called this the integration of the shadow. The need to face your own darkness, your anger, your hunger, and claim it. She doesn't want a boy who begs. She wants a man who knows. A man who has stared into the abyss of his own soul and come back stronger. Here's the third truth you're afraid of her. Not her smile, not her body, but what she represents. Freud called it the uncanny, the familiar, yet alien, the pull of the mother, the lover, the destroyer all at once. You sense this in her eyes, don't you? The way she can shift from warmth to ice, from devotion to indifference. You've felt it, and it terrifies you. Why? Because it mirrors the chaos within you. Jung said, the meeting with oneself is at first the meeting with one's own shadow. You're not just running from her, you're running from yourself. From the parts of you that you've buried your ambition, your rage, your truth. Let me be clear. She doesn't need you to fix her. The feminine psyche is not broken. It's wild, untamed, a force of nature that flows where it will. Freud saw this in his patients, in their dreams, in their unspoken hungers. He saw how the unconscious drives them, how it drives you. You think you can control her, predict her, cage her in your expectations. You can't. And the moment you try, she slips through your fingers. Not because she's cruel, but because she's alive. She's not here to complete you. She's here to challenge you, to force you to become more than you are. Here's the fourth truth you've been lied to about desire. Nietzsche, that prophet of the will, saw it clearly. The true man wants two things: danger and play. For that reason, he wants woman as the most dangerous plaything. You've been taught to fear your own desire, to soften it, to hide it behind respect or equality. But desire is not polite. It's raw, primal, a fire that burns through pretense. She feels this fire in you, or its absence. When you approach her with hesitation, with apologies for your own existence, she smells it. And it disgusts her. Let me be clear, she doesn't want your safety. The feminine psyche, Freud knew, is drawn to the edge, to the man who dares to risk himself. Not just in words, but in being. Jung spoke of individuation, the path to becoming whole, to forging a self that stands alone. You think you're winning her by being agreeable, by mirroring her moods, by shrinking yourself to fit her world. You're not. You're losing her respect. And worse, you're losing yourself. Nietzsche's words echo here. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Every rejection, every heartbreak, every moment she turns away is a forge. Will you break or will you harden? Here's the fifth truth: you're not enough, not yet. Jung's warning rings true. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You blame her for your pain, don't you? Her coldness, her unfair standards, her silence. But the truth is harsher. You're not ready to meet her. Not because you lack charm or wealth, but because you lack yourself. You've let the world define you, your job, your friends, your endless scrolling. You've avoided the inner work, the descent into your own psyche, the confrontation with your fears. And she knows. She sees it in your eyes, in the way you falter when she challenges you. Let me be clear, she doesn't owe you anything. The feminine psyche is not a vending machine for your validation. Freud's insight cuts deep. The unconscious drives us all. But only those who face it can rise above it. You want her to choose you, then become a man worth choosing. Not through tricks or tactics, but through the brutal, lonely work of self-mastery. Jung called this the hero's journey, not a quest for her, but for you. To face your shadow, to claim your power, to stand as a man who needs no one's approval. Here's the final truth: you're dying inside. Every day you avoid this work. Every moment you chase her instead of yourself, you decay. Nietzsche's voice thunders. Man is something that must be overcome. You're not here to be comfortable, to be liked, to drift through life in a haze of distraction. You're here to become, to forge a soul that can withstand the storm of the feminine, that can dance with her chaos without losing itself. She is not your enemy, but she is not your ally either. She is the mirror, the fire, the test. Let me be clear. This is your choice. You can keep chasing shadows, begging for scraps of affection, blaming her for your emptiness. Or you can turn inward, face the darkness, and build a man who cannot be shaken. Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This is not easy. It's not safe. It's not fair. But it's the only path to freedom. So here's your challenge, brother. Walk alone. Not forever, but for now. Step away from the noise, the apps, the endless pursuit of her. Descend into yourself. Face the parts of you that scare you, your anger, your shame, your hunger. Write them down. Speak them aloud. Claim them. Then build. Lift the weights. Read the books. Chase the vision that burns in your chest. Become a man who stands tall, not because she approves, but because you do or don't. Keep drifting, keep swiping, keep begging, and die slowly inside a hollow shell of what you could have been. The choice is yours. But the clock is ticking. Freud saw it. Jung saw it. Nietzsche saw it. And deep down, you see it too. Choose. The screen is black. A low resonant hum pulses like the heartbeat of some ancient beast. Your chest tightens. You're not ready for this, but it's coming anyway. My voice cuts through the void, deep, unyielding, a blade of truth forged in the fires of forgotten wisdom. You're here because you're lost. You're here because the world lied to you about women, about yourself, about everything. You're here because you feel it. The chaos, the confusion, the gnawing hunger for something real. I'm not your friend. I'm not your guide. I'm the voice you've been running from, and today you will face me. This is about Freud and the hidden waves of the female psyche, the truth no one talks about. Not your priest, not your professor, not your father. They're all too weak, too blind, too afraid. But I'm not. And neither is the ghost of Carl Jung, whose words will haunt you through this. He saw what Freud glimpsed, but couldn't fully grasp. The feminine is not just a mystery. It's a force, a current, a shadow that moves beneath the surface of every man's life. You think you know women? You don't. You think you know yourself. You're wrong. Let's begin. Here's the first truth. The female psyche is not what you've been told. It's not soft, not simple, not a puzzle you can solve with flowers or promises. Freud called it the dark continent, a realm of instincts and desires so primal they defy your logic. But Jung went deeper. He said, the anima is the archetype of life itself. The anima, her essence, lives in every woman you meet, and it lives in you. You. It's the voice in your dreams, the pull in your gut, the shadow that makes you weak when you should be strong. You felt it that moment when her eyes lock on yours, and you're no longer in control. You think it's love. It's not. It's the anima, the feminine within, calling you to confront what you've buried. You've been taught to worship her, to pedestal her, to sacrifice your spine for her smile. But here's the lie: she doesn't want your worship. She doesn't want your weakness. The female psyche is a mirror reflecting back your own chaos. If you're lost, she'll drown you. If you're weak, she'll break you. Jung warned, the meeting with oneself is at first the meeting with one's own shadow. You think you're chasing her. You're chasing yourself. And you're failing. Now let me be clear. You're not a victim. You're not a casualty of modern dating, of apps, of ghosting, of games. You're a man who forgot how to be a man. You swipe, you text, you beg, and you wonder why she drifts away. Freud saw it, the id. The raw instinct drives her as much as it drives you. But you've neutered your instincts. You've let society castrate your will. Jung said man's task is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. Your task is to wake up, to see her for what she is: not an angel, not a demon, but a force that tests your strength. She doesn't want your compliments. She doesn't want your desperation. She wants a man who stands in the storm of her psyche and doesn't flinch. Her hidden waves, her moods, her silences, her contradictions are not random. They're signals, challenges, a call to your own depths. Jung called the anima the serpent in the cave of the heart. She tempts you not to destroy you, but to force you to face the cave. You've been running from it. You've been hiding in porn, in distractions, in excuses. Stop. Face the serpent. Face yourself. Here's the second truth. The female psyche is not your enemy, but it's not your ally either. Freud obsessed over her sexuality, her repression, her hysteria. He was half right. Her desires are raw, untamed, a current that flows beneath her words. But Jung saw beyond the body. He saw the soul. The anima is the face of the soul, he said. She carries the eternal feminine mother, lover, witch, goddess. She's all of them and none of them. You try to pin her down, to label her, to control her. You can't. She's a wave, not a rock. You've been taught to fear her power. You've been taught to tame it, to please it, to buy it with your soul. But here's the brutal reality: she doesn't need you to save her. She doesn't need you to fix her. Her psyche is a labyrinth, and she's been navigating it longer than you've been alive. Your job isn't to conquer her, it's to conquer yourself. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. think she's your fate. She's not. She's your mirror. What you see in her chaos, beauty, pain is what lives in you. Let me be clear. You're not ready for her. Not yet. You're still a boy chasing shadows, addicted to the rush of her attention. You think you want love? You don't. You want validation. You want her to fill the void you're too weak to face. Freud called it the Oedipus complex. You're longing for the mother, for safety, for a womb to crawl back into. Grow up. The female psyche doesn't cradle weakness. It devours it. Jung said, the anima is a factor of the utmost importance in the psychology of a man. She's not here to save you. She's here to break you open. You've felt it the moment she pulls away, and your world collapses. Why? Because you've tied your worth to her gaze. You've outsourced your soul. Stop. She doesn't owe you her love. She doesn't owe you her time. Her psyche is a tide ebbing and flowing with forces you'll never control. Your job is to stand firm, to be the rock the tide crashes against. Jung said, the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents. You're carrying your father's weakness, your mother's fears. Cut the cord. Become a man. Here's the third truth. The female psyche is a paradox, and you're too simple to see it. Freud saw her as a riddle, a knot of repression and desire. Jung saw her as a bridge to the divine. The anima is the archetype of the eternal, he said. She's both chaos and order, destruction and creation. You want her to make sense? She won't. You want her to be predictable? She can't. Her waves crash against your logic, and you drown because you cling to reason. You've been taught to argue, to fix, to solve. You think if you say the right words, send the right text, play the right game, she'll stay. You're wrong. Her psyche doesn't bend to your tricks. She feels you before she hears you. She senses your fear, your need, your fraudulence. Jung said, the anima is the woman within us who never grows up. She's wild, untamed, a force that demands your strength, not your strategy. Stop playing games. Stop chasing tactics. Become the man she can't ignore, not because you're loud, but because you're whole. Let me be clear, you're not enough. Not yet. You're a fragment, a half a man, a shadow of what you could be. You've let the world soften you, tame. You reduce you to a consumer of her whims. Freud saw the ego as a fragile thing battered by the id and the superego. Your ego is weaker than you think. It crumbles when she doesn't text back. It shatters when she chooses another. Why? Because you've built your identity on sand. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You're not there. You're a ghost haunting your own life. She doesn't want your money. She doesn't want your status. She wants your truth. Her psyche is a fire, and it burns away your lies. You think you're honest? You're not. You hide your fears, your anger, your hunger. You pretend to be nice, to be safe, to be what she wants. She sees through it. She always has. Jung said, the anima is a psychic fact. She's not just a woman. She's a force that reveals you. And right now you're failing the test. Here's the fourth truth. The female psyche is your teacher, but only if you're strong enough to learn. Freud thought her neuroses were a problem to be solved. Jung knew better. The anima is the guide to the unconscious, he said. She leads you to the depths, to the places you've avoided your whole life. You think dating is about finding the one. It's not. It's about finding yourself. Every rejection, every silence, every tear she sheds is a lesson. But you're too blind to see it. You've been taught to blame her. She's too emotional, too complicated, too much. Wrong. She's exactly what she's meant to be. The problem is you. You're not ready for her intensity, her depth, her truth. Jung said, The anima is the soul's projection onto the world. She's not just a woman. She's your soul screaming for you to wake up. You think you're in pain because she left. You're in pain because you're incomplete. She's not your wound. She's the knife that exposes it. Let me be clear. You're running out of time. You're not 20 anymore. You're not invincible. Every day you waste chasing her approval, you die a little more. Freud saw death as the ultimate drive, the pull toward oblivion. Jung saw it as transformation. The psyche is a self-regulating system, he said. Your psyche is screaming for you to change, to grow, to become. But you're ignoring it. You're choosing comfort over truth, safety over strength. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs you to be real. Her psyche is a storm, and she's looking for a man who can sail through it, not a boy who clings to the shore. Jung said, the anima is the feminine aspect of the soul. She's in you and she's in her. The question is, can you face her? Can you face yourself? Or will you keep running, keep hiding, keep dying? Here's the final truth. The female psyche is not your salvation. It's your crucible. Freud thought he could map it, control it, reduce it to science. Jung knew better. The anima is the eternal image of the feminine, he said. She's not yours to own. She's yours to confront. Every woman you meet carries her beauty, her chaos, her power. And every woman you meet will test you. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because that's what she is, a force of nature. You've been taught to seek her love. You've been taught to fear her rejection. Both are lies. Her love won't save you. Her rejection won't destroy you. Only you can do that. Jung said, the individuation process is the confrontation with the anima. Your path to wholeness, to manhood, to truth runs through her, not around her, not over her, through her. You don't conquer her psyche. You master your own. The transformation challenge. You're at a crossroads. You can keep chasing her, keep begging, keep dying inside. Or you can walk alone. Not because you hate her, but because you respect yourself. Jung said, the meeting with the anima is the masterpiece. Your masterpiece is not her love. It's your life, your strength, your truth. So here's the challenge. Tonight, when the world is quiet, stand in front of a mirror. Look into your own eyes. Don't flinch. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I fear? What have I buried? Don't lie. Don't run. Stay there until you feel the weight of your own soul. Then make a choice. Walk alone, forge your path, face your shadows, become a man. Or keep chasing her. Keep hiding and die slowly inside. The female psyche is not your enemy. It's not your lover. It's your teacher. And she's waiting. The question is, are you man enough to learn? The screen fades to black. The hum returns louder, heavier. Your heart pounds. You know what you have to do.